Okay, Walter, good to have you back on the channel again. So would you be kind enough just to tell the audience who you are, what your business is, what you're doing here in Thailand, and then we can get into the video.
Of course, yes. My name is Walter Vanderwal. I'm from the Netherlands, Holland. I'm running an insurance broker here called VanderSure. I'm here in Thailand already now. This is going into my 9th year. And in Asia now almost 13 years. And living in Thailand, running the business with 2 kids and my German wife. Happy life, happy.
Excellent. Yeah. So you're as far as insurance brokers go in Thailand, you know the market very well. And we've done a couple of other videos. We had you on about a year ago doing a Q&A. And we also did a video talking a bit more just about your life in Thailand and bringing up a family in Thailand and so on. And the purpose of today's video is to go through some questions that we've had on YouTube to the video we put up about a year ago. And just going through some FAQ style questions that you get as well as a broker that we think will be helpful to the audience.
Cool.
So let's get into it.
Yes, please.
The first one is from Mango Sticky Rice, ha ha ha.
All right.
And they said, I know everyone is different, but it would have been nice if there was given some examples of what kind of premium would be paid for different age groups. So just talking about the premium for different, depending on your age, because there would be a bit of variation there. Oh,
there's a very large variation basically, because you can really make it as cheap as you like or as expensive as you like, depending on the premiums you choose and the insurance company you choose as well.
So it's not just the insurance company, it's not just your age, but also inclusions, exclusions. You can,
the benefits you choose, and there's even if you choose the same benefits, there's a big difference between the price of an insurance company. And that's always a very interesting part. Like you can go with a very young insurance company, for example, that just opened their doors about 2-3 years ago. Their premiums are a lot more competitive than when you go with a very established insurance company. The big insurance companies like an Allianz or a Cigna or a Bupa or an AXA, and they are a lot more expensive.
And I guess you sort of, to a degree, you'd get what you pay for as well, wouldn't you? Probably to a large extent.
For sure.
If you're going with a startup who are just running very lean, haven't been around that long, they might have low premiums to get you in the door. Prices could go up over time, but that might also have, because they're running very lean, they might not have the back office support required to get claims done in a timely manner, and little things like that probably comes into it as well, I'd imagine.
Oh, for sure. That is a big aspect of running an insurance company. It's like in my 15 years that I've been doing this now, I've seen so many insurance companies coming by, coming on the market, leaving the market again, or getting insolvent, or being acquired, and it's bizarre how fast that goes. And like a very easy example is that an insurance company comes into the market and really wants to penetrate the market, building up a book with competitive premiums. And then 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they increase their premiums massively. It's very important which insurance company you choose initially, especially if you want to stay long term.
And a bit would come down to the client as well, wouldn't it? Because some people would be happy to pay less knowing that they've got some coverage, and that's fine. Some people will be happy to pay more knowing they're going with an established company. They're not going to have issues if something comes up. So, I mean, you really got to know the market. And that's why, one reason, and we'll sort of get into this in the next question, why having a broker is important. But let's go to the next question, because you can probably address some of this stuff to some degree. So this one is from Rashid Khan, and he's putting it to you in this one. It's a bit of he'll put you on the spot a bit perhaps, or maybe not at all. In my experience, he starts off. Main question to the broker, who is your client? In my experience, brokers work for insurers and there's no legal obligation of neutrality and independence. He goes on to say, if a customer pays the same whether he or she uses a broker or not, who is paying the broker? Obviously, it is the insurer. Therefore, the broker is not working for the customer. He is working for the seller. And then he goes on to say, without regulation and legislation, the client is at a disadvantage. So he's sort of saying that you're working for the insurer and not the client.
Yep. Look, it's a very fair question, and that is, I think, a question that really tests your transparency.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like we're getting commissioned by the insurance companies, and that varies as well. Like it varies from 5% to 20%. But to be honest, most insurance companies pay you around 15% commission.
Yep.
And new insurance companies pay you more again, or smaller insurance companies pay you more because they don't have a name to, that brings trustworthiness to the insurance companies, to the clients. So yes, we're getting paid by the insurance companies, even though if you go directly to the insurance companies, the premiums are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Because then the commission goes to the direct sales team of the insurance companies. So there is no difference between our premiums and the insurance company's premiums. It's
Makes
exactly
no difference
the
to the client, does it? They pay the same regardless.
Correct. There is no difference whatsoever. I would even argue that we are more competitive because we can actually share the commission with the client sometimes, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
Especially, as a new...
And that's what we're going to do with this, isn't it? We're going to give the client, say,
correct,
10% discount, was
it? Yeah.
With a coupon code.
So, that would be that I'm sharing my commission basically with the client, and that means that you still have to pay the premium in full to the insurance company, but then I reimburse you 10% of the premium back to your bank account, because we can also deduct it from the insurance company's premium, but that's very difficult to do because the premiums are basically set in stone from all the insurance companies. So the best is you pay the insurance company just directly in full, and I reimburse you 10% of the first year premium back to the client's bank account directly.
Sure.
And then just coming back on who we're working for. Look, eventually, if you go with an experienced insurance broker, that wants to build a strong portfolio with good insurance companies that they don't have to work a lot on, then you have an insurance brokerage that will give you a long-term advice. Of course, it also depends on what the client wants. If they are only being an expat for a year or maybe two years, you can take a little bit of risk and go with insurance company that is maybe more competitive and that have a little bit of more risk down the road, like 5 years down the road. Because if you go with an Allianz, for example, you pay sometimes 40, 50, 60% more premium than if you go with a younger insurance company. They will, I'm making sure that I'm picking the right insurance companies that are trustworthy and that are licensed well and that are regulated and that they're paying claims, especially if something bad happens. Because there are also insurance companies out there that I wouldn't trust at all. And
the average person coming into this, they're not going to know that. They don't know all the ins and outs of the industry, who can be trusted, who can't. So the broker costs nothing to the customer. It's a free service, but the broker provides a lot of value.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of brokers out there as well that are selling the insurance companies that are not trustworthy because they are paying 30% commission and their insurance license is, somewhere from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a dispute with the insurance company, you have to sue them in the Caribbean, which nobody will do. Yeah. In that case, especially in Asia, there are just so many insurance companies that basically exist on paper. And sometimes they have people on the floor, on the ground in the country that they're selling, but most of the time they are kind of everywhere. And that is just, a red flag. And I would not quote these insurance companies ever. So I only quote the insurance companies that are trustworthy, that are licensed, that have, proper insurance license and that have people on the ground as well. And that's, I think, very important. And if that means for me a little bit less commission, that's fine, because on the long term, I want to build a healthy book, a proper book of business that, if something bad happens, that the insurance company will actually be there for them and pay the claims well and pre-authorize the hospitals in good and in a fast manner as well. And yes, sometimes I have to intervene basically or escalate it because it takes too long with the insurance company. But most of the time, because I am selling proper insurance company, or we are selling proper insurance companies, the insurance companies are there when something bad happens, or when they need to pay a claim or need to pre-authorize a hospital. So
and I guess like in sort of whether you're looking, a customer comes in and they're wondering like, is this guy trustworthy? Is he not, or whatever? You've been here for a long time in Thailand and Asia for even longer. You're building a business in Thailand. There is a lot of, you probably, with your business, I'd say there's probably a lot of customers that come through via word of mouth. Like there's strong expat communities here where people talk about, who's your insurer or whatever. So if you're doing things dodgy, the word would get around pretty quick and you'd be out of business pretty quick.
Well, pretty quick I wouldn't say, because there are insurance companies out there that I thought would be gone already 2-3 years ago because they only exist on paper. But
even like a dodgy broker, I mean, like how do you know a dodgy broker from a trustworthy broker?
But still, I'm also surprised that there are still sometimes out there, even though they're selling the worst products or the worst insurance companies in the world. Because what happens, like these insurance companies, they do pay small claims, but if something bad happens, when
you really need it,
then they are nowhere to be found. The reviews are being very are being all over the internet, so you can find if an insurance company is dodgy, yes or not. But still,
then again, sometimes you can't always trust the reviews either.
Yeah, true. But still, I'm surprised that these insurance companies are still out there and still functioning and still selling insurance. Some are also gone, obviously, but I'm still surprised that they keep their head above the water for so long. So and that's also because insurance is really long term. Like how often get someone really sick is also like it's a probability of 1 in 30 or 1 in 50 per year. So it also like they don't have many clients, so it's not a big population that they're running through. So I'm surprised that they're still out there because I was expecting that would be already long gone. But besides that, many clients do like these low premiums, even though they know that it's not a trustworthy insurance company, even though I'm telling them like, I would never be insured with them because I'm not sure if they will be there.
Or the different customers have different needs, don't they?
But
different financial requirements.
True, but they sometimes do want to take the risk. Like it's okay, the premiums are so much lower than the other insurance companies that they still want to go ahead with it because then they have some sort of peace of mind that there's some sort of company behind them.
That's right. And for some people, and we've actually got a question on this later. So let's jump to it right now, actually. There will be people out there who are not so concerned about insurance, who if they didn't need insurance, maybe they'd be self-insuring or they just don't care for whatever reason, but they need it for a visa. And these might be some of these people you were talking about who just want a low premium, who just want to tick the box and aren't too concerned. So
that's what we provide as well. There are many insurance companies for that.
So the question is, how does health insurance tie into visas or residency requirements in Thailand?
You have a lot of different visas, the LTR visa, long-term resident visa, you have the OA visa, and they require, the LTR is 50,000 of 100,000 US for inpatient, and they say outpatient, although they don't check it very strictly on outpatient. Inpatient is normally enough, and we have issued many policies or many visa applications in good order with the inpatient only for $100,000, because if you add outpatient it will be quite expensive. And for the OA visa is 400,000 baht inpatient and 40,000 baht outpatient, and there are many providers that provide that as well.
So some visas will require it. More the sort of longer term living here visas. Some visas like the DTV don't require it.
Don't require it. No.
It just sort of depends, doesn't it? But like, some people, for some visas you do need to have health insurance, don't you?
Yeah. For these two, you do. There are some more as well, but for work permit you don't require. But for the LTR, long term resident visa, and the OA visa, the retirement visa as well.
Yep.
And the trick is to implement a high deductible. If they only want like to tick the box for the visa requirements, implement a high deductible, the premium will be much lower. And
so that's like the excess, is it? If you need to put in a claim?
Correct, deductible excess. You can implement like a 300,000 baht deductible, and then the premium will be much lower.
Yeah.
And that's accepted by the Thai immigration as well.
Okay. So so there's a few options there.
Yeah. And all the insurance companies issue a COI and a certificate of insurance for the exact visa as well.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Next question: if I get seriously sick in Thailand without insurance, what happens?
Who knows? No.
So let's assume they had to go to hospital.
Yeah, I have had. In the 15 years that I'm doing this, I had quite some cases where, it's like they are fully healthy. I don't want health insurance, and I just reserved, a good lump sum in case something happens. And in Asia, especially if you're going to the private international hospitals like a Bumrungrad here in Thailand, but also in Hong Kong, the Matilda Hospital or wherever. Most international high-end top-tier hospitals, before you get treated, they do want to have a down payment, and it depends on the severity of the case, of course. If something bad happens.
What about? And I think we've actually got a related question on this, but we'll come back to that. But what about if they're in a serious accident?
Yeah.
They're not like they're knocked out when they come in, and they just got to go and get treatment quick, like it's a life and death thing.
Yeah, they will treat you.
Can you end up with a pretty big bill if
you can end up with a pretty big bill? Yeah, especially if you're foreign. Most of the time, you're being transported to one of the private international hospitals here, and they're very expensive.
Yeah.
I've even had fundraisings and like messages from people like, can you please help us fund this person because he was not insured and he's been hospitalized. So they will treat you, but you will have to pay at the end. If something is life-threatening, of course. If there is a planned surgery needed and it's not an emergency case, they want a down payment or a credit card on file already that can be charged.
Okay.
It depends on the amount. Like a Bangkok Pattaya hospital, they're very strict. They sometimes want a $10,000 or $20,000 down payment already before they treat you. If you don't have health insurance,
right?
If you have health insurance, and it's from a trustworthy insurance company that the hospital knows that they have a direct billing agreement with, or they have already had transactions with, they will treat you a lot faster. If you have health insurance from an insurance company, sometimes they're even on a blacklist because the insurance companies that I just didn't mention, but that I'm thinking of that are not really trustworthy insurance companies. They are on many blacklisted hospitals. Yeah.
And they probably don't tell you that when you.
No. So you have. Sometimes it's wise to check with a hospital, like, hey, is this insurance company trustworthy? If you don't really know them, you can't do really a background check.
And you probably have a fair idea of, which
I know exactly which insurance companies are.
So that's one of the things you'd be helping a customer with.
Yeah. So and if they are like blacklisted or they had issues in the past with this insurance company that they don't pay it out, even though they have issued a guarantee of payment before.
Yeah. Okay.
It can take a bit longer before you're being treated.
Yeah.
Because they want to have a direct a guarantee of payment from the insurance company first.
Yeah, so that's more the reason why someone might go with a higher end policy, a more expensive policy with a more reputable insurer.
Yep.
If they want the peace of mind, knowing that if something serious did happen to them, there won't be any hold-ups at hospital and the hospital getting paid and they're going to get their treatment as quick as possible.
For sure. Yeah, and one of these reasons that it sometimes can take longer with an insurance company is that with the application process, we will get to that later probably as well, but within the application process, the insurance company checks whether there are existing conditions, and you have to declare that on the application form. There are people that are not declaring existing conditions on the application form because they think the insurance company will not figure it out anyway.
Yep.
And that, especially in the first year or the first 2 years of an insurance plan, insurance companies can be quite strict in or careful before they issue a guarantee of payment, because they want to check whether the condition that you're hospitalized for was not pre-existing, yes or no, and should have maybe declared on the application form. So that's why it takes sometimes a bit longer when somebody is hospitalized in the first year or second year of policy, because the insurance company wants to make sure it's not pre-existing and you haven't lied on the application form.
Right.
So that's why I always suggest to go with an insurance company that does full medical underwriting, because then you can declare all the existing conditions you may have before you sign up with the insurance company, and then you know where you're going to be covered for and for what not, so you don't have any surprises later on. There are also a lot of insurance companies that do moratorium underwriting, which means you're accepted in any case, regardless of your medical conditions or your medical state, but then for every claim you make or for every hospitalization you have, the insurance company will check whether that was pre-existing, yes or no, so you don't know where you're going to be covered for later on, because especially when you're older, when you're 50, 60 years old and you want to retire in Thailand, you will have had some issues in the past, and that's a very important point. You have to declare these conditions before applying with the insurance or while you're applying, because there's a medical questionnaire. And then you kind of know, okay, what is my coverage going to be? Because before that, you don't know. Like all the premiums are based on fully healthy people that have no existing conditions whatsoever. So once you apply, you answer all the medical questions, and we submit it to the insurance company. They will come back with a renewal offer. This is how we're going to cover you. Can be an exclusion, can be an increase in the premium, maybe based on your BMI, or maybe you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure or whatever. But if you have diabetes, for example, they can exclude it. If you had cancer 10 years ago, they can exclude it. Well, 10 years ago is long. It should always be longer than 5 years ago. Sometimes they even decline you as well, that you're not being accepted at all. So the most important part is the underwriting part of the insurance plan.
Okay. How much does health insurance realistically cost for an expat in Thailand? I mean, there's a lot of variables in there, but I guess just sort of like, maybe we can talk about the more common.
If you are 30 years old, you can have a good plan for around inpatient hospitalization plan, not outpatient, for around 30 to 40,000 baht per year. If you are 40 years old, a hospitalization plan, maybe with a little bit of international coverage, costs you around 50,000 baht per year. If you're 50 years old, it will go to 70,000 baht, maybe even 80, depends on the deductibles you choose as well, and the coverage of, obviously. If you're 60 years old, it will go quickly to 80, 90, 100K per year.
60 or?
If you're 60 years old, 70, it will go to 130, 140. If you're 80, it goes to 180, 190,000 baht per year. Well, maybe even higher. If you're 80, things are getting very expensive. But you cannot really apply anymore with Thai insurance companies after your 65th. You still can, but you have to do a full medical checkup. It's very difficult to be accepted. International insurance companies are a bit more flexible.
Fair enough. All right. Do insurance policies cover things like motorbike accidents?
Yes. Health insurance does cover motorbike accidents or car accidents or whatever accident you may have, as long as you do things according to the law.
That's one thing I wanted to bring up. A lot of people come over here, particularly the backpackers, the younger people. You're bulletproof and going to live forever. And a lot of them don't have licenses, and they go and hire the motorbike. So how does that affect an insurance policy?
Look, 8 out of 10 times they don't check. If you're hospitalized and if it's not in the first 2-3 months of the policy, they will probably not check. But there is always a chance that the insurance company checks.
Yeah.
Especially if the claim is large, if it's like a $200,000 claim or something.
Yeah. So if you're in a serious accident and you end up in a coma or something, or maybe you had to get
for sure
lifted out by a helicopter, and that's not cheap.
If you have a good insurance company, they won't check, they will pay. If you have a bad insurance or an insurance company that rather doesn't want to pay the claim, they will probably check if you were driving under influence or if you have the proper license, or they can find a reason, according to the policy wording, to not pay a claim if you have done things not properly.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is always make sure you do things properly. You have a helmet, you have the proper license, you're not driving under influence, you do things according to the law. If you do things according to the law, the insurance company will pay, obviously, even if they're going to investigate, right? So that's important.
Definitely. Not something that a lot of people, or some people, don't give a lot of attention to.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got one for the digital nomads. How should someone structure their health insurance if they're planning to live across multiple countries? So this could be someone, you can think of someone who's like here on the DTV, you get 180 days per entry, and then maybe they go to Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam and travel around, go wherever they're going.
Yeah.
So can you get policies that will cover them when they're in these other countries, or would that sort of fall by the wayside when they leave Thailand?
Yeah, so in that case, if you're like, it depends on where you're going to live, right? What's your country of residence? But if your country of residence is changing all the time, then I would suggest to go with an international insurance company. Licensed out of Europe, for example, or the US or the UK. Because with these insurance companies, you can basically live wherever you want to live as long as you're an expat. Okay, so the policy is portable. The policy you can bring with you if you from Thailand going to live in Vietnam or in Indonesia or wherever you're going to go, even in Africa or in South America, or as long as you're an expat, you can keep the policy. There are also international insurance companies like Allianz that accept local nationals, so you can, if you move back to your home country, you're still able to keep the plan. But most of Europeans or Australians, where you're from, if they move back to the home country, they have Social Security anyway.
Yeah.
So, so in that case, for digital nomads, if they're changing country residences, often, an international insurance company that is portable is the best option.
Okay, so there is an option there for nomads, which is good.
Many insurance companies do that. Yeah. Cool. But if you go with a local Thai insurance company, you have to be resident in Thailand, and most of the insurance companies say like you have to have 160 days living in Thailand at least.
Yeah.
And then, but if you change your address to like Cambodian address or Vietnamese address, they cannot continue the policy anymore because you have to have an address in Thailand. That's why I suggest if you move around country residences, you need to have an international insurance company that accept different countries as country residents.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a story of a real claim from a customer of yours where insurance saved them financially? So they were very thankful they had insurance because something
so many times.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've actually a very recent case, which was a friend of mine. He got an issue in his heart.
Okay.
And it came up while playing padel, and then he was hospitalized, and then he came back, and then all of a sudden he just dropped on the floor, which was very close here. Then he was hospitalized in the ICU for almost 2 weeks, and then he got an ICD placed, and I think it was around 4 million baht eventually. It was all paid by the insurance company. So it was very happy, and that was a friend of mine. I have another client. Unfortunately, eventually he passed away, and that was also quite recent. But he was in Med Park for almost 1.5 years with pancreatic cancer.
Okay.
And that was more than 14-15 million baht. Med Park is also one of the most expensive hospitals in Thailand. So that was very unfortunate. But The family was very happy that he was well insured and that everything was paid for. And also in terms of repatriation back to the home country, because he passed away here in Thailand.
Yep.
That was also big, operation basically to get him repatriated back to his home country and everything. So there are so many cases, and especially in these kind of cases, like when something bad happens and when you're hospitalized for a long time, and you need, you have a heart issue or you have cancer, those are really heavy issues and very expensive as well, especially nowadays with these new treatments and radiation and chemotherapies, etc. It's very expensive, and they have all new techniques as well. And these hospitals like a MedPark or a Bumugrat are very expensive. And I have so many cases where they had knee surgeries that can be very expensive, and they need rehabilitation. I can keep on going. That's also it's not nice to experience these kind of things, but it's also part of the job, of course.
Yeah.
You have to be there, you have to support them, and you have to be really a mediator between the insurance companies and the client and the hospital. Yep. Especially if it's a friend, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Especially if you need to put in a claim that is important, and maybe you could have any kind of health issue. Dealing with an insurance company is probably the last thing you want to do, and it may be very stressful as well to the person who is sick. And having the broker being like a mediator, if required, that can be immensely valuable to the customer, can't it?
That's the most valuable thing, because normally an insurance company, they just have a call center. And if you're the client and you call the call center, it's quite frustrating sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So they call me on WhatsApp, online, or my phone number, and then they have an actual person that they know on the call that knows what to do, and etc. But once you're hospitalized, you should give your insurance card right away to the hospital. The hospital normally deals with the insurance company directly.
Okay, yeah.
But then they call me, and if it takes too long, I escalate it with the insurance company. So that's why it's very important that I insure my clients with good insurance companies. I have also clients that, I insure with maybe more competitive insurance companies that I think sometimes a bit tricky here and there. If something happens, with them, I'm also like, okay, let's see how this one is going to go. Because if it's an insurance company that doesn't have have fast claim service, fast client service, it's going to be a hassle.
All you can do is warn the customer when they're looking at the policies, and then I guess they make their own decision, don't they?
I've even now sometimes I insert disclaimers that I want them to sign, hey, this insurance company is not one of the insurance companies that we normally would suggest. I understand you would like to go with because it's a very competitive premium, but over time premiums can increase, and over time services can also change. As of now, we have had good experiences, that's why it's okay. But over time, with these kind of insurance companies, it can change. Are you aware? Please sign. So there is always a risk if you go with the more competitive insurance companies.
Sure. Okay. We have a question here on premium increases. So we have, regarding future premium increases, who determines the increase over time?
Best question there is, basically. So with the more established insurance companies, and I'm calling like an Allianz, and Cigna, and AXA, and Bupa, and Aetna, those are their own underwriters. So they don't have a reinsurer, they don't have an underwriter, a re-underwriter, or a re-financial insurance company. Those insurance companies are determining their own premiums. Of course, the premiums are always based on the performance of the total portfolio of an insurance book, right? So if an insurance book has higher loss ratios, the insurance premiums will go up. The insurance increases every year will go up. But obviously, the bigger the insurance company, the less sensitive they are for higher claims because they have also more income. The smaller the insurance company is, and those are the insurance companies that most of the time have underwriters or reinsurance companies, And they don't determine the premiums by themselves. The underwriters are determining the premiums.
Right.
So basically what they're doing, they're an insurance provider. They are provide the insurance and assist with all the claims, etc. But the premiums are determined by the underwriter.
Okay.
So basically every year they show to the underwriter, this is our performance of our book. We're losing money or we're doing well or whatever, and then the underwriter says you have to increase your premiums with this much or with this much.
Yeah.
You know, in simple terms, obviously, and that happens a lot. Actually last year we had an insurance company that had to increase from Allianz, because Allianz is then the underwriter from that smaller insurance company.
Yeah.
Allianz said you have to increase your premiums with 90%. And then they say like, well, we cannot do that to our clients. And then they're going to find a new underwriter. Do you want to take the risk of this book?
Right.
And then, but we want to have a 15% increase. And that unfortunately worked out, but that resulted into that we got the renewal notices very late, etc. So it really depends on who determines the future increases of the premiums. That's why with the more established insurance companies, you're a lot more safer because they determine their own premiums. And with these insurance companies over the last 10, 15 years, how long I'm doing this, they have stable increases every year, single digits, 6, 7, 8%. Whereas smaller insurance companies, first 4 or 5 years, 6, 7, 8, 4%, and then all of a sudden there's a 25% increase.
Right.
And then another 15% increase. And then they're trying to establish their premiums, and it takes time. Sometimes they lose underwriter, they have to find a new underwriter. So it's not easy in that perspective for us as well, because we really need to manage these expectations from clients.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my good partners, they had a premium increase of 16% last year, and they had reduction in benefits. So there were a lot of clients that they had to tell, like, sorry, you have a 16% increase, and that's a 60% increase generally speaking, but you have also the age increase then on top of that sometimes. If they jump age brackets, they get another 10%, so then you have a 20% increase in your premium. If you were paying 100K, you can all of a sudden getting 26K increase in the premium. You know, so it really depends on the insurance company who is determining the premium increases.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. All right, let's talk about the application process and just basically how does it work?
So if a customer comes to me, you know, I ask them, potential client, I would say, I will ask them for their date of birth and nationality and what kind of coverage they would like, and maybe the geographic area of coverage as well, where they want to be covered. Based on that, I send them an initial quotation from, let's say, 8 different insurance companies that are trustworthy, obviously, but have also good value for money. And I usually quote inpatient hospitalization quotation plans first. And then I send them that, and then they can have an idea of what the premiums are, and then they can come back to me with alterations or adjustments in the premium benefits, or maybe they want to add a deductible, they want to add higher benefits, or maybe they want to expand the geographic area of coverage, or they maybe want to add outpatient, maybe dental, maybe maternity, whatever. It's quite a process. We go back and forth, we create new quotations, maybe some more information from one insurance company, maybe the other insurance company. We go into details later on when we have maybe, you know, shortlisted 2 insurance companies. And then I say, okay, the pre-existing condition clause will also come into that, because one insurance company is more flexible than the other insurance companies. And if you want to have a pre-existing condition covered, you cannot go with insurance companies that are very strict. They will exclude any pre-existing condition, etc. So that's also, you know, being taken into the equation. And then eventually we apply with an insurance company. You will have to fill out, you know, your personal details, but the most important part is the medical questionnaire.
Right.
If you go with a full medical underwriting application. Most of the insurance companies have 10, 20 some medical questions. If you answer one of these questions with yes, you have to provide more information on the second or whatever page why you have answered these questions with yes. With that information, that application, we submit it to the insurance company. The insurance company will then come back to us with like, okay, we require more information regarding this existing condition. If they all think like, or all questions are answered with no, the policy is basically accepted, and then we can move on to payment. And once the payment is being received by the insurance company in good order, they will issue the policy.
Okay.
Yeah. But if there are existing conditions, they will maybe sometimes request more information. And then if you submitted all the information that they requested, they will make an offer letter with like, this is how we're going to cover you. Maybe there's an exclusion, maybe there's an increase in the premium, maybe there is everything can happen basically. Then they say, okay, this is how we're going to cover you. Are you going to accept that? And then you can sign if you accept, and then we can move ahead with payment, and then the policy will be issued.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. You've mentioned a couple of the big hospitals here in Bangkok. So the question is, what is the difference between various hospitals in Thailand or even in Asia, given the significant differences in pricing, treatment levels, etc.?
The main difference is, you have top tier hospitals, the top one, top tier, top two.
Who are the sort of like the main big hospitals in, I guess the private hospital that most expats would be going to if they live in Bangkok?
You want me to name them?
Yeah.
So Bumrungrad is most popular hospital. It's a very old hospital as well, and they have really the highest, technique in the world, technology in the world, or in the world in Thailand. But they're even on some hospital lists worldwide. They're number 10 or something of hospital in the world.
Okay.
They have also a lot of medical tourism, so coming over from Australia or the Middle East or India to have treatment here in Thailand, because it's a very high level and relatively cheaper
compared
than if you
to
go
places
to
like Australia. Yeah.
To Hong Kong, to Singapore, maybe Australia as well. Yeah. But it's getting more expensive, like especially last couple of years. Like cosmetic surgeries or dental as well. Dental is very competitive here, and it's from a very high level. But also more serious surgeries. They really they check at Bumrungrad, but also at MedPark, which is also a high-end hospital with like the best technology. Like they come over here just to really, if they are not insured back home, for example, they come over here because then they can pay out of pocket a little bit less and still have a very high level of treatment. And then you have B&H, and you have Bangkok Hospital, you have Samitivay. And there is definitely a lot of differences between these hospitals.
Okay.
And also differences in price and in terms of doctors they serve, and also in terms of like how they, like in terms of treatment, like there's what I have experienced with my own clients, like they have even tried different hospitals because different hospitals were giving different diagnoses, etc. And then you see how difficult medical treatment or medical healthcare is in general, And then you, like the ones that I just mentioned, those are really the top one, top second tier hospitals, and then you have like a large group of hospitals that are top 3, top 4, which is St. Louis, Bangkok Christian, Camellia Hospital, Sukhumvit Hospital, and they are more competitive, but still private and a high level as well. And then you have like the public private hospitals that are like semi-public, semi-private. Those are really good hospitals like Chulalongkorn, Pattaya, but those are really good hospitals as well, and they have lots of volume as well, because they are public hospitals and all the Thai are going there. So sometimes with maternity, like private hospitals are being taken out, like the gynecologists and stuff, or with C-sections, because they are so experienced, because they did a lot of C-sections with women, so they are being bought out by private hospitals to be a doctor there.
Right.
So and then you have all the local hospitals around the country as well, which are free for Thai and free for people that have SSO funds as well. And normally they are not bad, but the queues are just long. They're long waiting lists.
Okay. So plenty of different options depending on, I guess, what kind of treatment you need.
Yeah.
Just a question out of curiosity regarding medical tourism. I know it used to be a big thing back in the day. I mean, and it still is a thing now, but is the gap closing a little bit? Like how, medical treatment and how cheap it used to be in Thailand compared to someone like Australia.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, there probably was a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, like maybe is the gap closing a little bit? Or
the gap is certainly closing in terms of competitiveness of treatment.
Yeah.
Of price of treatment here in Thailand, especially at the private hospitals.
Yeah.
Because they are getting more and more and more expensive.
Yeah.
And
Bangkok has developed and Thailand has developed as a country.
Bangkok is developed, and also because of the medical tourism, demand is going up, and then they just have to increase prices. And that's why the insurance companies here in Thailand have been increasing their premiums as well, because the medical inflation in Thailand has been very high, especially at private hospitals.
Yeah, okay.
And also after COVID, we have seen a big increase in pricing because during COVID they were empty. They lost a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
After COVID, they got extremely busy again.
Yeah.
So they have increased their prices, but they're also overtreating. If they're well insured, they tend to overtreat a bit and give big bags of medication, etc. They tend to hospitalize people a lot sooner as well, especially kids.
Yeah.
Between 0 and 5, like they hospitalize them for a cold. So it's been.
Is that something you have to be a little bit careful of?
Sometimes, like they love to give you.
Especially if they're trying to give you a big bag of pills that you don't really want.
Especially if you have good health insurance, everything is paid for.
Yeah.
They just do a lot. But it's very difficult for clients, right? Because if a doctor says like, I think you have to check this and check that, and it's covered, of course they're not going to say no. Yeah. So that's a bit of an issue for the insurance companies, because the insurance companies like, how do we find a way to, make sure that the hospitals are not over-treating our clients because everything is covered for. So they are trying. That's why the pre-authorization is important. So the insurance companies have a little bit of time to negotiate with the hospital as well in terms of price, but also in terms of treatment that is being provided.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the treatment that is being provided is just ridiculous. It's not even necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Do you provide healthcare plans to families? Because we are seeing a lot more families move out to Thailand nowadays.
Of course, yeah. We offer family insurances. There are a lot of insurance companies that are really focusing on families as well. Because for insurance companies, especially young families, are a good sweet spot for insurance companies, because young families are healthy, they're taking care of themselves, they work hard, so they don't tend to claim a lot. So they have, many insurance companies have family discounts if you add 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. Some insurance companies have the second, third, or fourth kids are for free, etc. So
Oh, that's good.
So there are many insurance companies that insure families with good discounts as well. Yeah,
that's good to know. Yeah. All right. Over the last few years, we know a lot more foreigners and Westerners or people from all around the world are coming to live out here in Thailand. So are you seeing much demand increase in your business because more people are coming to live here? And a second part to that question, not really related to insurance, but just out of interest, what countries have you seen certain countries coming out here more, or even like what nationalities do you tend to deal with more, just out of interest?
First question, we definitely seen an increase in people coming over to Asia. I cannot really measure.
You probably got started at a good time, didn't you? Which we went over in the previous video. Yeah. But it would have been pretty quiet during COVID, and then.
Oh, it was very quiet.
Yeah, so that would have been a bad time to start a business.
Yeah.
Things were on the way up when you.
Things were like the globalization was increasing, especially in the 2015s. It started already. I would say even 2010 when I moved away from Holland, and everybody moved back to China. But China changed a little bit and got a lot more stricter. So everybody moved out. A lot of my friends from China moved out from China to Southeast Asia, Thailand in particular. And we see a lot more influx from Europe. People just want to leave and want to, live the digital nomad lifestyle, or wants to be in, nicer climate, but also, affordable lifestyle, which you can have in Thailand.
Yep.
So, there is a lot, and I've also in my acquaintance, like a lot of people that want to say like, I also want to move to Thailand. I'm tired of Europe. What can I do? How can I find a job? And it's like, well, there are a lot of people that are coming, so the competition is growing as well for all these jobs. So that's why a work permit here in Thailand is very valuable. Basically, everybody wants to have a work permit, and especially the people that are 25 years old or 20, even younger. And it's like, I don't care about my salary. I just want to have a work permit and live here. You know, so that's. But DTV visa really helped as well, and that created a lot of people that were coming over and that worked for on a remote job or. So and then answer your second question in terms of nationalities. Well, I work a lot with Dutch because we're Northern Europeans as well. Germans, my wife is German, so I get also a lot of German inquiries. But to be honest, I also work with a lot of people from the UK and Americans, Australians. And Australians in particular as well. Canadians also a lot. Spanish, really all over. I've now even Chinese that I'm assisting as well. So it's so really all over the world.
When it comes to
Brazilians as well, I have a large group of Brazilians.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But for one, like if you do a good job with your clients, then they recommend you to your friends, family, or other people they know. So it's
for sure. Let's talk about I know it could be Australians or Dutch or English. Because you have probably a bit of a chat to these people and a lot of back and forth and different conversations taking place. What are some of the big reasons why people are moving to Thailand? There's probably a few common themes.
Funny one. I had a chat with an older client of mine. It was like almost like it's beginning 70s, I think. And he, that in Thailand there are also a lot of lonely older retirees. And they're being a little bit looked down to sometimes by people, and then they see they have like a younger Thai girlfriend or whatever. But then you actually...
But these guys are old and they maybe been married and divorced and they're lonely and
this is the thing.
Don't have money to
so
live
I talked to one of these guys that are living in Pattaya and, a super nice guy. And I was like, how did you end up here? It's like, well, I was living in Belgium. It was Belgium, actually. I was living in Belgium, northern Belgium, Dutch part. And I was like, and my wife passed away almost like 5 years ago already. And, my two kids, they come and see me maybe once or 2 months or something, They have their busy lives as well. And I had an okay house. And I thought like, if I sell my house, I get €500,000 and then I can maybe do something with it in Thailand and live a nice lifestyle. So that's what I did about 2 years ago. And he moved to Thailand with €500,000 and now he's super happy. He has a younger Thai girlfriend, of course, and maybe he's gonna marry her because that's what she wants. And I was like, wow, sometimes you have to be a little bit careful with that and da. But I understand that. Like if your wife passed away, you're just living there alone in a rainy Belgium every day,
and you might just be on the pension, so you don't have money to go out and enjoy your life, and maybe you might not have many friends, or maybe your friends are I don't know, whatever. But you can come here with what is a relatively small amount of money in Belgium or Australia or the UK and change your lifestyle here.
No, and people are indeed on pension funds as well, where they have get €2,000 per month or something, or maybe sometimes even less. And you can live a good lifestyle, but then the insurance company or the insurance can be quite. That's always the tricky part if they are on the lower pension funds, basically, because then the insurance is going to cost like €300-400 per month sometimes if you're over 70, because it's very expensive. But there are so many stories out there, and I understand that they're doing that, and the lifestyle here in Thailand is just a lot more free, a lot more open. Everybody wants to connect with each other. It's a lot more dynamic. There are a lot more people from their ages that are maybe lonely and want to connect with people. And the culture back in Europe, when you're older, it's just not so connecting and not so being outside and being on the beach or whatever.
It's the same in Australia.
And here it is, and people are finding themselves, and
I mean, you can sort of from the outside look in at somewhere like Pattaya and knock it from some sort of idea that you have about the place, but you can't doubt that people can come down here and have a much better life, particularly the older people, like we've been talking about. I mean, you're out, you're walking every day, you're getting a coffee on the beach, you're walking along the beach. You can have a very nice outdoorsy social lifestyle, good climate, and if you don't have a lot of money, you can spend very little as well if you want.
Exactly, you can live an extremely affordable life here.
You certainly can't knock people for doing it. We're all heading to that age eventually.
Exactly,
and you don't know if you're going to be married or divorced or whatever, single or and if your options are limited in your home country a little bit. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? And it's extremely safe here.
Yeah.
As well, and people are extremely nice, and and for everyone is a place like Thailand or Bangkok is made for people that are looking for a second life or
It is in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, even for most people, it's always working out.
Yeah,
it's always working out. They found their life here. They're super happy again, and also in terms of my friends, which is a completely different life, of course, because they all have jobs here in Bangkok. But they all stick, even if they're being sent out here, they lose their job after 2 years or whatever. They want to stay. They all want to stay in Thailand, and they're all finding new jobs and local contracts.
Yeah,
and that is increasing a lot as well. People from around 30s. That want to move to Thailand and looking for a job. And
so it's a lot easier to find a job with a Thai company?
Not necessarily a Thai company, but on a local contract. So not an expat contract, on a local contract.
But being employed in Thailand?
Yeah, being employed in Thailand. Yeah. It can be a Thai company, but it can also be an international company.
Yeah.
And most of the time an international company. And
but easier to find a job as a foreigner as it used to be, because it used to be quite difficult, didn't it?
It used to be more difficult, but I think it's a lot more easier now.
Yeah.
It's still not easy.
It makes sense, because Bangkok in particular is very international these days.
100%. It's still not easy to find a job, but what I always recommend my friends and other people is if you want to live in Thailand, just come to Thailand.
Yeah.
And give it a 6 months time, because you will find a job, but you have to go into the community to talk to people. You can apply online, etc. But if you apply from wherever you live, back in Europe or back in Australia, you will not find that easy a job. You have to be here.
Yeah.
You have to be here in order to really get into.
Yeah.
And after 3-4 months, you're already getting into the lifestyle, because there's so many events, there's so many house warmings, gatherings, and pool or whatever, where you meet so many people, and that is really the culture here, among expats, among foreigners, to really meet up and help each other as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I had on my list. Is there anything you wanted to discuss or add before we wrap it up?
No. Yeah. I think in terms of insurance, it's complicated. Talk to me. I'm doing this already 15 years, and I've made a lot of people very happy with our services. And in terms of Thailand as well, I'm here now almost 9 years, and my 2 children are born here. If you want any advice in general in living in Thailand or living in Asia, also very happy to help.
Yeah, fantastic. And we'll just mention again that we'll give a coupon code to the viewers, and if they mention the code to you when you're signing them up, you'll give them a 10% discount.
Yep. Yeah. Just say that you're from offshore Asia, and the coupon code we will write it down in the description,
we'll put it up on the screen.
Exactly. Yeah, and you will get the 10% discount, which means is the commission sharing, because insurance companies will not give a discount because of me. It's just that I'm sharing my commission.
Yeah. No, that's good. Oh, thank you very much, Walter.
No worries.
It's been
very welcome.
A very enlightening video, so I think it'll be valuable to people who are interested, not just in insurance, but even just moving out to Thailand in general.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Helpful. Thank you.
Very good.
Come.
Come.